She was 2 months old, too tiny and innocent to protect herself. I guess her fearful cries weren't loud enough to hear from her crib. When she was 12, she sought guidance from her teacher, confused by what just happened, but was met with the response of, it was probably just an accident. 5 years later, her barely conscious body was carried to a room, leaving the image of his face as the one thing she'll remember from that night for the rest of her life. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you've heard countless stories of sexual assault against females and the damaging impacts it has on their lives. But have you ever stopped to think about just how detrimental these impacts are? 1 in 5 females have experienced sexual violence. That's 1 in 5 women, young girls, and even toddlers and babies. Sexual assault against females is a rising crisis acting as a global issue and destroying lives. It happened yesterday, it's happening today, and it will happen tomorrow. Is this really how we want our women to be treated? Throughout time, research has proven that far too many females have been sexually assaulted by males, but little to nothing is being done about it. Now, you may be thinking just how many. Well, in 2016, a combined 3.2 million Australian females experienced sexual assault and/or violence, and those are only the ones who have reported it. Better yet, those are just the ones who have survived. Within this violence and assault, 93% of offenders were male. Crazy, isn't it? However, sadly, this is the norm for many females across the world. These are our daughters, our mothers, our sisters, and our friends. How can we let this continue to destroy the lives of our loved ones? The limitless objectifying comments, stares, cackles, and harassment I experience should not be the reason why I cannot walk home by myself. But I consider myself lucky, because nothing worse has happened. Yet. What you probably don't realise though is that males don't tend to face this issue. In a class experiment conducted just a few weeks ago, everyone was asked to step forward if they have never felt scared that they'd be sexually assaulted whilst walking alone at night. Not to my surprise, each and every single boy stepped forward whilst all the girls stayed put. If this doesn't prove that we have a real crisis on our hands, then I don't know what does. Now, don't get me wrong, males get sexually assaulted and harassed too, but the severity of this problem for females right now is too high. We cannot let girls grow up believing this is the norm, thinking that it's only a matter of time until their once smiling face is plastered over the news as just another case. Now, boys will be boys. I'm sure we've all heard this excuse among many others from our parents, family members, and teachers even about why boys behave the way they do. But this damaging stigma built from our early childhoods has impaired the view on sexual assault. Make sure you walk with someone, wear your jacket, don't stay out too late, are all things us females hear daily. Why teach us girls how to prevent ourselves from being the next victim when you can teach boys how to not be the next perpetrator? You hear things like, he's a smart, well-mannered kid, she was asking for it anyways. But we cannot let these monsters get away with such evil crimes. Females' lives are being destroyed because the leaders of our system are blaming them, using these blatant excuses. Males are set free with almost no punishment or record of crime, whilst these girls are left feeling alone, ashamed, and plagued by nightmares. This behaviour from males is not natural or biological impulse. This is violence. This is aggression. This is destroying lives. And I'm afraid I'll be next. Your sister is afraid. Your best friend is afraid. If change doesn't occur now, young girls will grow up believing this is the norm. We will continue to walk the streets in fear, trying our hardest not to be seen. The system must realise consent is a conversation, not an assumption. Men must be held accountable for their actions. Letting this go on is almost as bad as committing the crime itself. We must stand up for these females now, or someone you love could be next.